Hey, what's up? This is a little impromptu morning talk. I've been really itching to make more content throughout the week. It's just with working overtime, like I work out in the morning, I work 10 plus hours, and then, I deal with my animals and stuff, and I just have no motivation. That's why usually I'll try to pump out as much content as I can on the weekends. So yeah. That is what it is, but hopefully I can get a good 10, 15-minute video done here before I go into work. It's one of my off days for working out. My cat is terrorizing my dog right now, so if you hear them in the background, and I apologize for the room, it's a little messy. I got to clean up. It's a little hectic getting up in the morning, getting around and all that, but anyways, yeah, I wanted to talk about the void again, filling that void. Because I know I still do it. It's just it comes in many forms, okay? Some people do it with food. I've been there. Obviously, drugs and alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. I don't know why I always state it like that. It's like they're two separate things when alcohol is a drug. Just filling a void. This even goes for marijuana. And if, I have some friends that smoke a lot of weed, be it flower or dabs, whatever. With modern technology, you can vape it. And they're in denial too. And there is mental dependence and there's physical withdrawal symptoms too for people that just go cold turkey from it. I know I've had friends tell me it's like a fact. So my cat's trying to get into his cat food. I need to feed him. Yeah, like digestive issues, and if people are saying they're not addicted to it mentally, at least they're lying. People that are smoking all day, they definitely have a mental dependence on it, but this is neither here nor there. They may not be filling a void, but anyways, I did it with alcohol. I've done it with food. But now that I'm sober and I've lost weight and I've learned to manage these things, it's now in the form of buying things. Like, I'm obsessed with collecting, which isn't a bad thing. And like I've stated before, if you're buying on debt and running credit lines up and then paying compound interest, that's not the move. I always have the liquidity to buy the stuff I want, whether it be expensive, not. Everything's paid off with cash. And, I have a savings that I can, and I work a lot of overtime, so I constantly have money coming in. So, like, this one, I don't even want to call it a vice, but filling this void, it's coming from, like, impulse buying now. And I know what I'm doing. I'll get happy for, like, a half hour. It's almost like a mini high. And then once I get the item, I feel it again. And then once I store it away and I have it stored away, it goes away. And it's like, I want more. I constantly want more. Collecting wise. My cat is being bad right now. So cute though. But yeah, so right now it's like impulse buying, which it's subsiding a bit because I've pretty much bought everything I want, but there's always more things you want. And the more you research and look up, the more you're going to, want things, and then they become needs, which that's a negative in life. But yeah, I'm very happy with what I have. It's just with collecting and trying to fill this void and chasing nostalgia, it's like never ending. I mean, there's so many products out there you can't. And I'm a realist about it because I know I can't buy everything. I'm not a multimillionaire. I mean, I have more than most people, and I'm happy with that. But as collecting, there's always something else. And I'm so diversified with like cards, books, retro games, Funkos, which I'm not buying any more Funkos after I saw the recent claims of them dumping hundreds of thousands of them, which they're the common ones, the junk ones you see at Walmart that just sit there. Like, I have more rare ones, not super $10,000 grails, but I got some more rare ones. I'm not super invested into it. I enjoyed the hobby, but as far as buying more, I may lay low and just keep what I have. Like, I have not bought a Funko in a while, but my girlfriend and I like collecting them. So it's always fun to do it as a hobby. But as far as like my higher end ones, who knows, they could be worth 90% less. And I'm fine with that. But I feel for people that have stores and people that have tens of thousands of dollars wrapped up into several Funkos. Like, they could take a massive loss. And people are calling it like the Beanie Babies and the Pez of 2020. And you know what? It could be. Because I remember friends that had massive Beanie Baby collections that were worth a lot of money, and they all went to like next to nothing. So, you know, and I've done research on mass produced scarcity and the way the markets work. And you know what? Could very well be true, but that's neither here nor there. So like, I'm more into vintage stuff in general, even with retro games. They could go down too, you know, but that's whatever. And I'm rambling. I'm always rambling, but the topic is filling a void. It comes in many, many forms. Some people do it with it can go way further with emotional control, like controlling things that, you know, that people are always filling this void. And for me, the way to ease it is to like work out, build a foundation, have a home you're happy to come home to. Like when I'm out of work, I love it. I love my computer setup. I love collecting. I love playing guitar. You know, I might be exhausted. Sometimes, you know, I'm tired, but you have to have that foundation. You want to keep achieving things. Like, I'm now a lead. I'm like a supervisor on the floor at my job. It's something I've never cared about before. And now that I'm sober, like, the opportunity arose, and I'm like, hey, I want this on my resume. You know, who knows what the future holds. I've exponentially went up with my wage. I'm not going to talk about my wage, but for my area, I make out pretty well, and I'm very close to work. So I'm very fortunate in the fact that I can have 4-minute leeway time to work and make a good wage. And I'm very fortunate for that. And while drinking, I don't know if that opportunity would have arose. Who knows where I'll be in a year. You know, I have a decent resume as far as labor and trade skills. So, and that's a good thing. You want to constantly be building yourself. I should have went to school. I should have educated myself, but partying, depression, and anxiety sort of kept me from that. And it is what it is. I make do. It is life. I don't need mansions and exotic cars. You know, if I had the money, would I? I don't know. I'm very frugal. I don't know where I would be if I was super rich. I don't really care because I don't ever expect to be there, but never limit yourself. You never know, right? Yeah, you have to build that foundation, and you really have to start to love yourself, because without self-love, which I've talked about before too, that void is going to be even bigger, right? And people are constantly consuming substances, buying things, eating, emotionally damaging others, lashing out and projecting, because they have this void they're constantly trying to fill. It's like an abyss. And everything's temporary, like just like alcohol is temporary, control's temporary, impulse buying is temporary. Like every time I buy something, that little rush, it goes away. I store it away and I want the next thing. It's an object that sits there. But like, I love the nostalgic chase. It's all nostalgia. Nostalgia is like a high. I love looking at old stuff I used to play or have. But like I was saying, I'm diversified too. So like a lot of people that have a heavy retro collection don't have a heavy vintage card collection, and vice versa. Some people do, but that can get very expensive. And I'm diversified quite well. I have a lot of old cards and retro. I sort of am all over the place. That's another thing with my addictive personality. Like I'll go from one thing to the other, whatever catches my attention. But my tip, never buy on credit. You know what I mean? That's just not very intelligent. It can really mess your life up and swindle you down. But yeah, that void, I know you can relate to that. And it's still there in my life to this day. You know, replacing alcohol with caffeine, I still got to cut this. This is like it's an oral obsession. Just like when I used to smoke, vape, you know, it's something constantly coming up. I could do it with water too. When I quit caffeine before, I did it with water, but I was still drinking at that time. It's like it gives me a little bit of a pep. So it has that, you know, caffeine's a drug too. It's like I'm replacing one substance with the other. I'd take caffeine all day over alcohol any day, but I'd like to eliminate this too. And I've talked about all this before, but I just wanted to touch up on the void. And I have a whole list. I'm trying to formulate a list at work while I'm working, and it's hard sometimes, especially being tired. So I can talk more broadly on different topics related to alcoholism. It's hard. Like, you feel like you've covered everything, but it's not bad to touch up and go into more detail on specifics. And there's always new ideas and new nuances to come up with. That's why I love doing this. And I've been trying to make content, as much as I can. But, you know, that void, you have to constantly be building your foundation, and you have to know that it's there and know why you were trying to soothe it, right? And then you can control it. Will that void ever go away? I think so. People seek it in love too. People that are constantly in relationships, they break up, get into a new one, break up, get into they're trying to fill a void, right? I didn't mention that before with all the other, there's a ton of ways. And a majority of people are doing this, even if they recognize it or not. But it's like this abyss, this dark matter that whatever you feed it just goes to nothing, and you have to keep feeding it, right? That is what it is. And to me, to fix it, you need to constantly be improving, building a foundation, positivity. Negativity is always bad, which is going to be another video. It's so hard to constantly have a positive outlook and mentality, and I struggle with that too. I do get negative, and negativity breeds anger, hatred, fear of the unknown. It goes on, and like, people you surround yourself are a big deal with that. Like, if someone's always being toxic and negative around you, it's going to spill over onto you. It's like when they say if you hang around trash too long, you're going to start to smell like trash. And there's a lot of truth to that, you know. There's a lot of merit to, it's not what you know, it's who you know. There's a lot of merit to that too. Not always. What you know, I don't always agree with that, because what you know can directly impact your life too. But like my current boss at my job, he takes a liking to me. He likes my mentality. He likes my outlook on psychology, and he knows I'm thoroughly knowledgeable on like dieting, nutrition, and like, he just took a liking to me, and he's, you know, we butt heads and stuff, but he's definitely advanced me in my current career path. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have clicked this way with anyone else. And he takes a liking to me. He sees something in me. And like, I don't always agree with everything. I'm more of a realist than he is. But there's nothing wrong with that. No, you know, no two peas are the same in a pod, you know. I don't even know why I came up with that. Why I just said that's ridiculous. Peas could be exactly the same, I guess. But snowflakes, I guess there's no two snowflakes that are the same. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. But I'm glad I met him. Sometimes he's a little out there with his ideologies, and it's not bad. The thing is, he's never negative. That's one thing I like about him. That's where I need to get to, because with my temper, it's like I'm filling a void with my temper too, and like getting outraged by other people's laziness or like stupidity. I feel like there's a reason I'm doing that, and I'm aware of it, and I'm trying to fix that. And once I get there, that's one barrier in life that's holding me back. Not everyone's gonna have a lust for motivation and progress, but that triggers me. Is that a void? I don't know. This is getting a little bit more into like the emotional side of it. I'm still working on that to this day, but we're going to have a video made up here this week of just avoiding negativity and cutting it out of your life. And yeah, I got a lot of stuff brewing. I just got to find the time and motivation. Sometimes I get home and I'm like, I don't feel like talking, or, you know, I don't have time. But it's like I'm really enjoying making this content. I really am. And a lot of people are giving me great feedback. They're thanking me. And I like people sharing their stories. And like, maybe down the line, this will be another video I'll bring up too. Maybe we can do a live session here down the line when enough people are willing to come in. Even if I get 5 to 10 people to come in, that'd be cool. We could talk about it on like a Friday evening, Saturday or Sunday, and talk, develop a community. I know a lot of other channels do this type of stuff. That'd be cool to do. If I get the time, that's another thing we'll, could be in the works. But I got to get around. I got to head into work. I'm glad I got to make this video. I'll probably get it uploaded after work today quick. But this is just like filling that void, man. Be aware of it, manage it, and construct the foundation around it. Because my final thoughts are, if you're running low on money, you got to work and make money back. Find a hustle, get the money back. If you're overweight, try to lose the weight and diet, work out. The eating void, you'll learn to control that. Like, I used to eat a lot, and I still could, but I know how to control it. I fast, do intermittent fasting. I watch my carb count, higher proteins. And on my cheat days, I still mess up. I eat like a freaking pig on my cheat days. I do. It's ridiculous. But the very next day, I go right back to low carb. I work out, and I make sure those carbs are used instead of just being stored as fat. That's the trick to it. No one's perfect. I overcarb load way too much on my cheat days, but I'm managing my weight. I'm around my goal weight, and I've been here for a couple months. It's between like 170, 180. And if I go up above 180, I go right back down. And when I go down to 170, I go right back up because I'll tend to eat more and like be more lenient with my diet. But I got to be more strict because by the time I'm 40, I want to be absolutely shredded. I already proved the 290 to 170 weight loss, pretty stacked, pretty built, right? I think I look pretty good. I want to get to that next level where I just am shredded by the time I'm 40 because I want to drop my weight, do higher reps, and just do cardio and not do the heavy lifting. But yeah, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, that void, get your foundation down. Any negatives, anything where you're overindulging to fill that void, be aware of it and get control of it and moderate it, okay? No money, work, hustle, save, learn to finance, wait, diet and work out. If you're constantly seeking love in others, try to manage that and fulfill more self-love. Try to fix that void so you're not constantly seeking out toxic things, right? That's what we do. Same with alcohol and drugs. There's something there that you're trying to mask. You're trying to heal with something that's just making it worse. And I'm still battling this. You know what I mean? I'm still battling this. And right now it's like coffee, which it's such a mild issue, but coffee's really ticking me off how much I'm drinking it and stuff. I need to get rid myself of it. And just impulse buying to soothe my to get that little dopamine rush and stuff. I'm not out of control with it. It's not a problem. But it's like sometimes I catch myself on eBay or like, trying to find deals, and it's like, why? Chasing nostalgia. It is a drug in itself, honestly. So that's my issue right now. It's not out of control, and it's sort of fading back because a lot of the big expenditures are already out of the way. I was spending a good amount of money there for a little while, and now it's subsided. And once I have it, it's like I have it, right? It's in my collection, and I'm good. So, like, that's good. But, yeah, not much more to say. Take it easy. It's Wednesday. We're going to kill it this week. Later.